Hey Flutter developers, does your code strive to give a polished first impression? But instead, you frequently hear your product manager to scream,
Is this app a loading screen or did my phone just achieve enlightenment?
then in this video, we'll be creating splash screens for your Flutter apps. But this time, with the help of Gemini AI tool. You must have surely seen this small transition screen which displays as soon as you open the app. Well, there are a couple of reasons why apps have splash screens. Number 1. To mask the app launch process. Mobile apps can take a moment to load up, especially the first time they are launched. The splash screen fills that gap with a branded image or animation, giving the impression of a smoother launch and preventing the user from thinking the app has frozen. Number 2 is a psychological effect. Every company wants to establish a brand identity. The splash screen has an app's logo or other branding elements. It sets the tone for the app's visual style and reminds the user which app they are interacting with. However, it's important to keep splash screens brief to avoid frustrating users who are eager to get into the app's main content. Let's dive into a tutorial wherein I shall explain you how you can onboard your users smoothly. Let's get started with the tutorial wherein I'm going to explain to you step-by-step procedure how with the help of Gemini you can create a splash screen. But I highly recommend you to watch this video wherein I got you introduced to Gemini AI. So here's my Gemini. What I'm going to try and do is write a Flutter code for displaying splash screen for 3 seconds. The splash screen shall have a logo at center and move to home screen once 3 seconds are over. More upon, I want to add a title as Programming Hub and subtitle Learning Made Easy. As you saw, this time I'm giving a difficult prompt and also making my Gemini do a bit amount of more work by telling it to write the code for title as well as for the subtitle. Just don't take me bad for taking me as a lazy person. I just intend to speed up my work. So here I am waiting patiently to get my splash screen and I can see there's a time duration for 3 seconds. Let me go down over here, copy this code and head over to my lib directory wherein I'm going to create a directory called as views. Now inside the views, I'm going to create the new screen as splash screen. Well, certain things into Flutter you need to understand before you straight away walk into the Gemini. What are those things? First, creating the file name with camel casing. Well, that's a Google recommended way of writing the file names. Next, you should be having your class file name exactly in the name of the file name that you create. Hence, it's highly recommended that you don't confuse other fellow developers in your company when you're trying to write the code even using Gemini. Let me now go to the main page and over here, instead of display maps view, switch it to splash screen. Next, what I'll try and do is comment this line of code so that I can actually see my splash duration with 3 seconds and also on the center of the screen. Well, what I've already done is inside my assets, I added this logo .webp file. Well, this again, Gemini considers that you will be having a WebP file or either a PNG file. I was fortunate enough to get the WebP suggestion, hence not even a single line of code changes and I can try running my app. In fact, let me show you the logo. Well, this is the logo that shall be appearing on my device. Let me run the app from the very beginning and check how does the splash screen look like. And yes, what I can notice is the splash screen displays the logo at the center. Well, it kind of is very huge for my phone. What I can try and play along is on the splash screen, mention the height and width as 250, width as 250. Do a hot reload. This looks decent. More upon, for the programming hub, I'll try to increase the font size to 24. Yeah, that's my 24 font size, and learning made easy looks pretty much decent. You can try playing along and make the app customization so that you can satisfy your UX designers. Next, what I'm going to try and do is create intro screens. Well, what do you mean by that? Let's say your app is relatively new. You want to explain what features are inculcated into your app. Intro screens are hugely beneficial in that context. Example, you might see your stock market applications that help you with sliders 1, 2, 3 to help you what are the features into the stock market app. Soon you'll understand how with the help of Gemini I'm going to do in a jiffy. Now, in my previous case, I have already used introduction screen Flutter plugin. If I go onto the pubdev, do you notice it shows along with the sliders, with the skip and this forward arrow button, which allows you to continue from any point of time. What I'm going to do is create a lookalike of this intro screen, but with the help of Gemini. So here I am giving a prompt to my Gemini using introduction underscore screen plugin in Flutter. Create a 2-page intro slider app. Intro slider screen, my bad. It will highlight benefits of programming hub app, which helps students to learn about coding. I want the image to be on the center. Let me change this as logo image to be on the center, and also skip and continue functionalities. Let's try and see if now my Gemini can give me the code which I can actually use for the introduction screen. So here I go. On the tap of my enter button, I see Gemini to do some processing. And yes, it in fact has given me the code for introduction screen. What I have done is over here, In my pubsec.yaml file, I already have made the introduction screen plugin to be there before I started with this video. Hence, let me just copy this entire code. Inside the views directory, I'll go ahead and create app intro screen.file and I'll paste my code. Well, it's good to see that it never gave me any errors. Next, what I'll try and do is rename this to app intro screen at these two places, and from the splash screen, I'll now uncomment this and go to the app intro screen. Now, do you notice? In fact, it wrote the code for push replacement on splash screen. Well, what's exactly that? Imagine if you're trying to view the first page of the application and you are already navigating him to the home screen. When the user presses the back button, he shouldn't be going back to the logo. That would be very absurd. Push replacement ensures that once the intro timer screen is complete, you go up to the home screen, and if you press the back, you straight away exit the app. That's again a beauty which Gemini took into consideration without me giving it a prompt. Let's try and see how does my app intro screens look like. And yes, it says hot restart. Well, this is how it looks. Welcome to the programming hub. Now, when I slide, it gives me this one more page, learn at your own pace, and then I can easily slide over, which says join the coding community. Hence, you got to see that easily I could navigate and also create the intro screens within a jiffy. Let me check if the skip and continue functionalities are been there. And yes, I can see that skip, the next button, and even the continue, which marks as done button, is already been there. What I'll do is now try to press this done button and let me check if I can load the default maps view. Yes, that too works.
Conclusion. That's it for creating intro screens in Flutter with the help of AI. In this video, we explored the power of AI-assisted development and how it can streamline your work. I will add the GitHub repo link in the description box. Remember, AI can be a great starting point, but don't be afraid to put your own creative spin on the things. With a little practice, you'll be crafting stunning and engaging intro screens that will wow your users. If you like what we do, then consider subscribing to our course, whose link is in the description box. We have crafted to suit anyone who wants to learn to code. Happy fluttering!